Well, I watched you talk about. I thought I was out there triangulating, trying to match what you guys were doing, and I'm like getting a point over here and trying to line myself up. I'm like, how the hell does he get on these little corners?
Yeah.
And then I watched you talk about it, where you got a small object in front of a object in the rear, and that's how you triangulated with your depth.
Yeah.
And that was like blow my hair back. You know, like well, that was easy.
Yeah, that's the only way to do it, because most people will try to look there and then look there or look there and there. That don't work. You got to have something like this.
That's right.
I mean, and that puts you dead on. That's why you can hit a stump 300 yards out in the lake.
I agree completely, because I could never do it.
And we've watched David do it. We watched Rick Clunn do it a million times on Pickwick. We've watched. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you said it like with cranking. You were the man. You figured it out before anybody figured it out. You taught Kevin how to do it. You taught the rest of us how to do it, and you did it on bodies of water that I love, like Kerr Reservoir is one of my favorites, and you really cut your teeth down there and some of the other places down in North Carolina.
Yep.
You want everybody's money.
Well, I don't know about that. But, you know, back in the old days, it was fun, because you had about probably less than 10% of the field that was doing that, and it just made it easy. You knew when you found that right bunch of fish. Didn't matter, whenever you got there, you was going to catch them. So you just sort of knocked around.
That's a great problem,
because nobody else was going to find them.
Yeah, you knew it was going to take you about 10 minutes to catch 20, 25 pounds. So.
And then you ate that lobster.
Yeah,
it away.
That's right.
Well, you certainly set the pace with it, and you taught us all how to crank. You've developed a lot of crankbaits. I still have a lot of those old Poes.
He's a scientist
kicking around, but. No doubt about it. But what we wanted to talk to you about today is because you brought something up that, did you know David cranks with braided line, and I hadn't heard anything about all this stuff, and I'm like, no, that's not. It's a lie, because I know he uses mono. And
see, I'm winning the bet, David.
I know how he does it. I studied this thing for 20 years, and but you got a new way of cranking.
Well. Yes and no. I mean, I still crank and wind the same way. It's just some of my tools are a little bit different. Yep. But yeah, it's I've been fishing braided line quite a bit. Actually, when I throw a crankbait, it's probably going to be on that. And the deal is, you can feel your bait. I mean, that's the whole thing. And plus, you really don't even have to jerk. You can just sort of turn your rod a little bit, and the fish. You catch every fish that bites. It's amazing how much better it is. The problem is finding a braid that's good for you that you can cast, and that's the problem in all braid, is finding some braid that you're actually to get distance with, and that's always hurt braid, and it probably always will.
What braid do you go with? How do you find the right braid?
Well, actually, some of the braid I'm using they don't make anymore. I used to use Tough Line Supercast, which is a braided line with a mono coating on it.
Yeah,
and it would actually outthrow mono. It was insane how far you could throw it. And now, we have X5, X9 Berkeley line, and it does a pretty good job. Maybe not quite as cast quite as far as the old Tough Line, but some of the lines you can't throw at all. I mean, especially when you get down to that 20-pound, 30-pound test that's 10 or 8-pound diameter, it wants to jam up in your spool. And so finding the right line is a challenge. It is, because you got to be able to cast it, and you don't want to be sitting there getting out backlashes all day.
Right. Well, do you have any tips for that? Because I don't get backlashes, but other people do. And
yeah, right.
He's the dean now,
Yeah. Getting a backlash out of braid is like the most impossible thing that there is.
So annoying.
It is.
Is there any tricks to getting that out, or you just got to
and jam it up? Yeah, change line. Get a different brand. Yeah. Well, because some of them, there's no other way. They just won't do it. They won't do it, and you get jammed up down in there. And what happens? And then the next throw you throw, it goes about 10 yards, and boop, stops automatically, and your bait comes back and hits you. So,
or takes the rod out of your hand.
That's when you know you ain't got the right kind of braid.
So what on that X5 and X9, how do you distinguish between the 5-strand and the 9-strand?
Well, actually, I like both of them really good. The 5-strand may be the best.
Okay.
It's a little bit bigger strands, and it seems like maybe doesn't jam up quite as much.
Welcome to Bass University TV, an online video training course where you'll learn champion bass fishing techniques from pro anglers Pete Glusek, Mike Iaconelli, and their talented special guests. From on the water to in the classroom, you'll learn sound techniques and strong fundamental bass fishing skills. Watch hours of video content on multiple topics at your own pace for a low monthly fee. Cancel at any time. Information is power in the sport of fishing, so learn from the very best. Subscribe to Bass University TV today.